It's that time, baby. Welcome back to the channel. My name is C4, and today we are here to continue our journey of rebuilding the worst teams in every Madden. We've rebuilt the worst team in Madden 01, 02, 03, and we're 0-3. Like, we barely scratched the surface of making the playoffs. Rebuilding in these older Maddens was difficult. It was very difficult. And I expect this video to be no different. At least we're starting into Maddens at like 01, 02, 03. That was a little bit before my time. I feel like 03 might have been my first Madden, but I remember at 04, I mean, you look at any Madden ranking list, like greatest Maddens of all time, 04 is like top 5 at worst, if not in that top 3. I gotta be completely honest with you. At this point in time, I played, I think ESPN football was before 2K5, and I think this was the first year that came out. It was always cheaper than Madden. I remember when I was a kid, I wasn't a diehard football fan, so at that point I was like, let's kind of get the cheaper game than I would the expensive game, but obviously got around to getting Madden 04, which, I mean, it's everything you want. Like, I had to mute the soundtrack to get copyright, but as soon as you hear Bone Crusher, Never Scared, oh, get that shiver down my spine. Now, this Madden, good gameplay. I'm hoping it's not as dated as the last couple games. I'm going to be completely honest with you. Madden 01, 02, 03 so far, the gameplay has been kind of dated. But I think it's going to be a good time, and hopefully Franchise Mode got a couple of new additions, but we can't talk about Madden 04 without maybe the most known, notorious, positive, and or negative, depending on what side of the football you were on in this, in 04, and that is the great Michael Vick. Madden 04 Michael Vick is one of the most overpowered video game characters in any, not just even sports titles, in any video game ever. Michael Vick is like the ultimate final boss. 95 speed, 95 agility, 94 acceleration. You got the 97 throw power. Accuracy is fine. It's super OP. Oddly enough, I wish Atlanta was one of the worst teams in the game because last 03 we actually rebuilt the Atlanta Falcons with a before Madden 04 Michael Vick and just so many turnovers. If you remember that video, so I did my due diligence here. We had to find our worst team. I'm not going to be able to diddle around there with Michael Vick, screw around. We have a goal. We have a purpose, and that's to build the worst team. And I'm looking through this. We got the Lions are an 80, 78 for the Cardinals. Browns are an 80 right now. And then we obviously go into some of the Europeans teams and stuff like that. So, the worst team in Madden 04 and our team for our rebuild is going to be the Arizona Cardinals. They were 5-11. Year before. 78 overall, the 77 offense, 77 defense across the board. Let's meet the squad before we get into the franchise mode. All right, so we're looking at the Arizona Cardinals, and outside of Michael Vick in our 03 rebuild, which, I mean, he just was awful in the sim, all these teams are going to have not great quarterbacks. Right now, we got to look at that Josh McCown, one of the top 5 jaw lines in the history of the NFL. Preston Parsons, sure. We don't have a quarterback. Our starting QB is Jeff Blake. He's 32. Yeah, we're going to need to draft one sooner than later. At running back, we have Emmitt Smith, who at this point of his career was absolutely padding his stats, and that's fine because he's going to be solid and serviceable for us for the time being. We have Marcel Shipp, not overly familiar, but at least we're starting to get into more Maddens. Like every year we get closer, the more players I will be able to remember and maybe talk about. We have Hodgins at running back, 85. Bryant Johnson at wide receiver, I think, kind of sounds familiar. Anquan Bolden's rookie year. Anquan Bolden's an all-time great. We have Kevin Casper with the frosted tips. That looks dope. Sure. Not overly familiar with the rest of these wideouts, but we have Anquan Bolden. I like that. We can work around that. That is a exciting skill position player for this Cardinals team that I'm going to try and hopefully grow and develop through the rebuild. We have Freddie Jones at tight end. I feel like, is this the Freddie Jones? Was it the Chargers rebuild we did? Is it the same guy? I remember we had a tight end named Freddie Jones. I can't remember what rebuild it was, but he's solid, 82 overall. Offensive line, we have LJ Shelton, 81. Pete Kendall, 88. We have Garcia there, not great at center. We have Leonard Davis, 95 overall. He's only 24. So there is a franchise building piece right there on the offensive line. And then Anthony Clement there at right tackle. So it's not a bad O-line. I mean, Shelton's an 81 at 27. So for a 5-year rebuild, he's probably going to be our franchise. Hey, that is a massive human being. 6'6", 341 pounds. Leonard Davis as well. Gigantic. I remember Leonard Davis was a beast back in the day. 6'6", 355. Good night. Defense does not look, we're not, I think the defense is way worse than the offense. Even though they both kind of broke even at a 77, at least there's some upside in some of those offensive guys. We got Fred Wakefield, 70. We got Kyle Vandenbosch, 73. I think I remember him being on the Titans. Calvin Pace, rookie. I mean, yeah, we got some upside there, I guess. Put Pace to left defensive end and Bosch at right end. Maybe we can develop around that. We have Wendell Bryant, 76. Russell Davis. Yeah, not overly familiar with these guys. Left side linebacker, Ray Knock. Thompson, 75. 25. Maybe we can develop that. Got a guy, rookie that didn't even sign his... Who is that? That's not bad. 2268. Wish you had a name. I could probably figure that out. Google exists. We've Ronald McKinnon, middle linebacker. Right outside linebacker, LeVar Fisher. We have LeVar Fisher and LeVar Fisher Woods. Okay. Secondary, we have Dwayne Starks, 85. Not bad, but he's 29. That's not ideal age. David Barrett there. Renato Hill. Kobe Reinhardt. Robert Cromartie. Wish that was the other Cromartie that eventually went on to play for the Arizona Cardinals. We have Dexter Jackson. I feel like, did he play for the Bucks at some point? But he's an 83-26. That's not bad. And then we got Adrian Wilson, who's an absolute beast. 87-23. Probably the best player right now on our defense, at least looking at this squad for a rebuild standpoint. Special teams, we got Bill Gramatica, 79, and Scott Player. Most generic name of all time, but he's a 94 overall punter, which is a very common trend. So far, with all of these teams that we've been rebuilding, it seems like a common thing is that their special teamers, be it a punter or kicker or both, are like within like their top 5 best players, and it's no different here with Arizona. So without further ado, let's get to year 1 of the rebuild. So as we take a look here at Madden 04's franchise menu, again, kind of still with the same trend as the previous ones, where it's just like a very linear, options. It is what it is. The features, though, are pretty cool. We have something here where you can export your team, which I always thought was pretty badass, being able to play against your buddies with your own franchise team. We have this option, which is the modify uniform. So here at the Arizona Cardinals, if I wanted to, we could just go in and give us a neon green helmet. And then we're going to go this. And that's what we're working with if we really wanted to. But I'm not actually going to do that. I feel like that'd be kind of stupid, kind of silly. How do we go back to their actual colors of this one? There we go. We'll just go with the regular color. But having that option, sure, if you want to do within your own franchise an old rebranding of your own team, why not have that option? Here in the coach options, we have this same menu here that we've had in previous games where you can kind of set your strategy and all of that stuff, which is obviously important. Maybe I can look on Game Facts and try to see like what's meta to get the best sim numbers. But I thought this was kind of cool. You can kind of like change your coach's tendencies. You know what I'm saying? Like, what are we looking for a quarterback here? Do you want a pocket or do we want a scrambling quarterback? I can kind of set what we are trying to build here. Same with power, speed back. Just little things that give your coach a slight, you can have a slightly different identity there. So again, more of that stuff definitely help. Kind of can go in the way of the future Maddens where they just take a look back. Like, well, hopefully someone at Madden's watching these videos. And I mean, hey, there's these lists every year of people talking about the good old days in Madden, all the great old features. But when you actually get to sit through and go through it and like live it, I'm going to be doing 5 years of it. You just see like how much little, like these are not things that are going to need to take months and months of development to like re-put into the game. They're just small things. Give a couple guys 3 or 4 little additions that they can put into franchise mode into every single game. I don't think it's going to take a whole lot of people to put like coach tendencies, you know what I'm saying, in new Maddens. Either way, we got training camp here. This is another thing that was really awesome about the old game. I remember this. Training camp allows you to take your players into minicamp drills to help improve their skills. You're only allowed 1 player per drill. The same player cannot compete in more than 1 drill. You must earn a trophy in each level. So, I mean, this definitely seems in line with, it's kind of similar, to give it to a more recent game, like when you did your career mode, your be a player in the old NCAA games. Remember, you'd have to do those drills during practice, and if you got bronze, silver, or gold, it helped give you more points that you can continue to up your attributes. And that's something that, like, why wouldn't you have something like this in this game? So we're going to set up so we have quarterbacks. Guess we'll get McCown in there. Let's just do one. I'm going to do all these balances. Let's hop into a nice pocket presence training just to see. 1,400 points is what we're going for. Josh McCown, let's go, baby. X. Oh, my God. This is going to be hard because I'm playing on an Xbox controller, and this is my first time doing this. Okay, circle. Okay, we're good. I got sacked.
Ooh, you suck.
Damn it! That was terrible. All right, got to redeem myself. Got to do the running back one here. Ground attack. Get all the buttons, X, circle. See, again, this is what happens when you come in cold to like playing on an emulator. PlayStation 2 buttons with an Xbox controller. Got to be a slight learning curve. But we got Emmitt Smith coming in here. Got to hopefully show us a thing or two. Oh, we just butts the spin. Oh, we're unstoppable. Let's go, baby. See, now I'm in my element. Like, how fun would this be if you put this in present Maddens where it's like, all right, if I'm the Philadelphia Eagles and I do this and I get gold, oh, look, you got +1 speed for Miles Sanders going into the next season. Like, that'd be, man, gotta bring this back. This is an awesome feature. Oh, the jump cuts, gonna be filthy. When I hop in and play a game with this team, I'm going to be feeding Emmitt Smith or whatever running back we have. Which is, ooh, got jacked up there. I'll break that tackle. Get off me, son! I think we need one more tutty here to get gold. Come on. Spin move. No. Almost 2,000. I'll take that. So I got 2 points available here for Emmitt Smith, and I can put them into these different categories. And for me, I think break tackle's probably the direction I want to go. And you can see his overall shifts from an 81 to an 82. Put this back in the game, EA. So we simmed, Sim year 1. 0-16. Hey, guess there's a first for everything here in these games. 0-16. Couldn't win one game. Couldn't win one. Couldn't win one game. I assume we're the worst team. You know, we're going to have that top pick, which is good for a team that's in desperate need of a quarterback. We were, by a lot. Stats this year. Jeff Blake at quarterback was not good. More interceptions and touchdowns. You never want to see that. Ship had more production than... I mean, yeah, your pad stats, Emmitt Smith. That's what you get. Positive on the offensive side of the ball is 2 rookie wide receivers led the team. 800 yards, 6 touchdowns for Bryant Johnson. Almost 6 and 2. Would have liked more touchdowns for Anquan Bolden, but I like that. Those are numbers that we can build upon. Hey, even Kevin Casper there, only 2 years in the league. He threw up 600 yards with bad QE play. What if we get a franchise guy in the draft? We have some interesting weapons that are young at your receiving position. Defensively, Adrian Wilson, Thompson, and McKinnon all went over 100 tackles. We have 8 sacks for the rookie Calvin Pace, so that's another big positive for this team. 4 picks there from Dwayne Starks, 2 from Wilson. I mean, it is what it is. Really wish we didn't go. What's this thing called? Horse trailer. What? It's just the overall player of the week. Hannibal Navies. Never heard of that guy. Let's look at the yearly awards just real quick. Get an idea where the league's at. Kurt Warner is your MVP. After him and the Rams go 15-1. Falk, Vic, Rich Gannon, Isaac Bruce. So 3 Rams on the MVP short list. That's awesome. And they also have the defensive player of the year. And Tommy Bawley. Ray Lewis is there. Carlos Emmons. I mean, I'm not going to be honest. I'm an Eagles fan. I don't know who that is, to be honest with you. Ben Lieber there, Niall Diggs. I've heard of them. But hey, the positive is anytime you go 0-16, you know you have your chance at whoever you want in the draft. Hopefully there's a QB there. Coming at the beginning of the offseason with this prop. Welcome to the owner's box, which lets you know it's still like kind of like current day Madden when you're the owner, except you can, hey, I want to make hot dogs $4. But I also have this other option: consult your board of advisors for team improvements. All right, we see our income, our expenses. Okay, the balance sheet, checks and balances. That's fine. Staffing. Can we find a better head coach? We have a coaching staff. Oh, man. Hopefully this comes back. I feel like we're trending in this direction from some of the screenshots and stuff that we are getting for Madden 22. But until, you see it, till the proof's in the pudding, it is what it is. I don't know a whole lot right now. You can see this guy. I assume all of these ratings are out of 100. So this is looking like a fairly not great coaching staff. I wonder who's still available. Can I see the available free agents here? We have Scott Linehan, Gary Kubiak. These are dudes looking for... What do you mean? What does this mean? Available. Oh, yeah. They're out of 100. I am going to go in. Let me go through. I'll come up with a coaching staff. Oh, my God. Jim Johnson. He's going to be our head coach. I'm already telling you right now. This guy is going to be our head coach. Your current head coach, contract not expired. Would you like to terminate his contract? Yes. I want Jim Johnson, RIP, to be the new head coach of our team going forward. Now, how do I figure, like, is there something that says whether or not these guys are going to come in as an offensive coordinator, defense? Like, give me a second. Let me figure this out. So I kind of figured it out. It's still kind of confusing, obviously just coming in, but I got the late great Jim Johnson now as our head coach, so it's a defensive-minded head coach. Offensive coordinator, I got this guy, A. Wood, who had the highest quarterback rating, I assume, because we're hopefully going to be able to land on a young rookie quarterback. Defensively, got Mike Singletary to try to come in and roll our defense. I just kept the special teams coach as is because he was probably actually the best coach that we had on board. So that is cool. Training staff. This is another thing that helps with recovery and prevention to make sure that your team is always healthy. I have injuries off, so I'm not really going to worry about that too much. But ultimately, yeah, it's cool, man. And like here's like, you know, we're trying to figure out what coach we want. You're looking for an offensive mind. We got, these are obviously everyone that's still in the NFL. We could have probably looked outside the building, guys that actually had jobs, try to poach them away. But look at, Norv Turner's there. Brad Childress, some guys I definitely know. But you can search by everything. Knowledge, offensive line. So you can get your own specialist by position of how you want to build your coaching staff, which is, again, another element that we absolutely need to return to Madden so that I can have my own identity, my own culture, and be able to kind of control all those things in my franchises. So, hey, Madden 22, great place to get back to that. You can also see here, you get like owner information. You can look at your fan support, attendance, expectations of how many wins you want, income, expenses, overall, your franchise and team, which gives you kind of where you are against the league average, where your team is really falling behind, where the strength is, as you can see. Well off the mark for QBs. I don't think we're like defensive backs were fine. Special teams were good. Running back, meet the mark. O-line is just slightly underwhelming, but yeah. Again, hey, all this information, it seems like it's like, who cares? But it's stuff that just, if you give people, if they really want to fall in love and get in line and super immersed into their own franchise modes, stuff like this kind of goes a long way to doing that. For the offseason retirements, Emmitt Smith has decided to hang them up, so we are in need for a new running back one. Got a couple depth guys and stuff I wanted to re-sign, but the big name is Adrian Wilson, who I absolutely want to keep for as long as humanly possible. I want him for this entire rebuild, so let's just get that out of the way now. Give him a 4-year contract, and now time for free agency. So the scouting is pretty much the same as last Madden. You look at a player, there's literally not a whole lot of information. You look at the rookie report, and it gives you pack accuracy, arm strength. This guy already looks amazing from Texas Tech. Call him, Patrick Mahomes, hopefully before his time. So yeah, not a whole lot to go off of. I think because it's just year one, instead of like double, triple scouting players get a lot of information, I think I'm just gonna try to cast a very broad net so I have just as many potential players that could be good as possible, especially when we have as many holes as we do right now on Arizona. We gotta make sure we hit on the QB, but the rest, we just gotta try to find the best players and hit on all of our picks. So scouting is done, and just to show you how scouting, like the completed process, look like here in Madden 04, and get an idea of like scouting in the older Maddens. So these are the first 3 top quarterbacks that could potentially go in the first round. So obviously with the #1 overall pick and a need for quarterback, we're going to scout them. So we have Potts here, who had amazing arm strength, amazing accuracy. We saw the combine interview was great, and look at the notes. You go through it, like it's kind of like the previous Maddens, but here we got, he's a classic pocket passer. Think Chad Pennington speed. So we're getting comps now. We're getting legitimate comps for what these guys here. We have another one, Jerome Ward from Arkansas Pine Bluff. We got, again, more Chad Pennington comps. What we got for Falk here? Unbelievable arm, couple years return on investment. So yeah, yada, yada, yada. It seems like for the most part, we're probably going to be grabbing Mike Potts, who looks, obviously they're both amazing categories. But player comps, imagine. In Madden's current state of scouting, where you just hit X 3 times to get your report, imagine if you actually had player comps and all those little intricacies that make scouting, gives it life, makes it that much more intertwined, that much more of a reason to get invested in the players that you're going to be trying to draft, especially when you're not using custom, created draft classes that have real college players. When you're using generated stuff, give us something to feel like somewhat attached to some of these guys, and not just, hey, hit X 3 times, give us some letter grades, and move on. It's kind of lame, kind of lazy. So we're not going to mess around here. Let's go to our scouted board at quarterback. Potts is going to be our guy. He is the Texas Tech quarterback. Amazing actor. Like, I'm hoping we're getting someone in the 80s. You know, let's see. He's gotta be the best player in the class. He's gotta be. Oh, we don't know his overall yet. Well, it should be good. It should be good. Second round, again, because I can't find the ratings, kind of kills the excitement here. I don't have actually a lot of guys scouted second round. I spent a lot of my points more so because you get that huge gap between 4th and 7 rounders. Do have some corners here. I think I'm going to reach slightly because the best player that also has a player comp is this wide receiver. We need a third wide receiver, and it's Marco Braxton from Ohio State. As for breaking tackles, reminds me of Torrey Holt. Has good hands, great kick return, good run power. 40's fine. I think this is the guy that we're going to grab. Even though it's slight reach, he's a guy that looks the best on our board. So as you can see, when we made our selections, and now as we're signing our draft picks, there is that element to fog of war. We're going to have to play with these players to figure out what their overalls are going to be, which is fine. I got literally everybody that I want to. I think maybe around here there was like a D end that I wanted that I couldn't grab, but ultimately I'm just to set things up for when I find out their ratings. I literally think all of these guys had something positive for them in the initial reports. The initial grades that we got for like their hands and their tackling and all that stuff were all very good. So hopefully we don't have a bunch of guys that are like in the 60s. Our first wave of free agency, at least it's better than the last couple of Maddens. The last couple of Maddens free agency has been absolute butt cheeks, and at least in our first window here, we have some guys in the 90s. I'm not gonna go top tier just yet. Walter Jones, I'm very intrigued, an all-time great. But there's also Chad Clifton, who's a little bit younger, a little bit off the pay. I mean, obviously there's that big gap in terms of contract, but one's 30, one's 28. One gives us opportunity to continue to spend, so we can kind of deviate here. Clifton for us can be our new starting right tackle. So that is who we're going to try and bring in. As well as in terms of biggest position that we still need to try to improve for our squad here, it's in the secondary. We need corners, and unfortunately, the corners that are available are not the best. So here, let's up our offer here for Clifton. And when you look at the top corners, we have, and we're in on David Barrett, as he's the only guy that's not super old. We have Bryant Westbrook there, Mickens, Fred Thomas is the best of us, but like 75, 76. I'd rather go with the young guys, and hopefully they can grow and develop just a little bit. I also feel like, hey, we'll give Reggie Howard a little bit of an offer here. 5 years, under about $1 million. Should be able to land all these guys. Hopefully not going after Walter Jones, not trying to catch that big fish. Doesn't come back to bite us in the ass. So free agent period, come and gone, and we got all of our targets that we really wanted to try to bring in here. We got Clifton, David Barrett, and Reggie Howard on the back end of the defense. Not a crazy period, but at least we have, you know, starting tackle for the remainder of this rebuild, at least. Oh no, we got rookie ratings. Potts, and I assume that's, you know, it's going to be the best of the bunch. 74. Had amazing throw power, amazing accuracy, and that gives you 82 and 83. So hopefully the development is very nice. Brian Johnson's up to an 81 there. Aquan Bolden, solid. Braxton, our second round pick's only a 65. Oh no, this is not going to be ideal. Well, why isn't Thompson not starting? Is he one of my ends or something like that? Doesn't make sense. Why L94 is playing over Thompson? Let's get that sorted out. Secondary, still not, you know, still not exactly where I want the secondary to be, but we'll get our 2 free agency signings there at corner 2 and corner 3. Got Wilson there, it's up to a 91. It's just, hey, we got a hell of a special. Hey, at least Braxton is a great return man. If not, we got Cordero Patterson in the second round. But all eyes on first overall pick, Mike Potts. Can he be Patrick Mahomes 15 years before Patrick Mahomes for the next great Texas Tech quarterback? We're trying this drill now with the new QB. I'm sure I'm going to be better now that I kind of know what's going on. And I know the buttons a little bit better. Look at the accuracy here, man. This guy here, slinging it. Boom. What else we need? What else we need? X? Oh, I know that's A on Xbox because I'm so in tuned. It's like, it's one with the body here. Warning out of pocket. You're out of pocket. Oh, messed that up. Sorry. Boom. On the money. It's looking like a goddamn stud right now. I don't know why we haven't meddled. I don't know what I need to do to... I'm hitting them right on the goddamn face here. We might be able to hit 1,000. Ooh. Oh, there we go. Bronze. I got sacked. I'm fine. Don't care about it. Oh, messed it up. Fuck. we battled. Progress. So we finished the year 4-12. Progress. I think if you go from 0-16, then you hopefully get your franchise quarterback. I think like 3 to 5 wins is like that pocket that you'd be satisfied with. We beat the 49ers. We beat the Panthers. We beat the Bills. We beat the Falcons. Do we have the first? Still was the worst team in the NFL. So back-to-back first overall picks. Don't have bad stats. Come on, Q. Oh, the QB sucked. Potts, 2,800 yards, 14 touchdowns, 24 interceptions. That is not great. Ship, though, I like the run game there. 1,200 yards, 8 tutties. We had almost 900 yards and 7 touchdowns for Johnson. 666. Depending on who's watching this video. You live in the South, you're upset with that number. We got 5 touchdowns for Anquan Bolden. Happy with those numbers. 3 guys going over 100 tackles yet again. From a sack standpoint, 8 from Wendell Bryant, 7 from Vanden Bosch. We have 5 picks. Reggie Howard, who was like our last free agency signing. So that's good production. Hopefully it helps him with his base overall. Kind of looking at the rest of the league here, at least in terms of like MVP and offensive defensive player of the year. MVP went to Ricky Williams. Awesome. Kurt Warner, Michael Vick, Marshall Faulk, and LT have the short list there. Defensively, got Nick Barnett of the Green Bay Packers gets it. Brooking, Brian Simmons, Ray Lewis, Hodge there as well. But unfortunately, or fortunately enough, it is a rebuild, so the more top picks that we can bring in, the better, I suppose, even though, the guy that looked like a can't-miss quarterback was only a 74 overall. But at least this time we can go BPA. Could be a defensive end, D-tackle, linebacker, safety, corner, wide receiver. All those things are definitely in play for the number 1 overall pick for the second draft of this rebuild. Free agency for us, kind of like just 2 obvious signings here. We have player at punter. Don't really want to let the best punter in the game go. And we have Ronald McKinnon, who's been very, very solid for us. Tackle machine every single year. Other than that, I was thinking with McCown, he wanted a little too much money. Don't think so. Scouting process took so long, I literally changed outfits. It's time for the number 1 overall pick. Last year, we got a 74 quarterback that looks pretty good. Here are our first round targets. Let's go overall. So I feel generally we had to go on the defensive line, and this is like one of those things where it's like, okay, well, we're still trying to figure out. There has to be tells in this game for like things that when you get in the notes or certain things in the combine, that's like, oh, this guy's your guy, right? Like this is a guy that has the 30+ bench press. If you're trying to like relate it to current Madden scouting, this guy here, strong for his size, fast enough. We're looking for someone that can make an immediate play. We're looking for a guy that's going to be like 77, 78, somewhere in that range. And I think it's going to be on the defensive line. We got an explosive tackler, ideal quick. There's some negatives. I'm looking for positives and negatives. We got Blake Little from Clemson. No problems. Needs to develop more strength. No injuries. Gains instant penetration. So this guy looks actually pretty solid. 6'4", 270, 4'8", almost a sub 4-second shuttle. We have Marcus Charles, 6'2", 279 with 4.68 speed. Lacks the speed. Oh, they're just kind of ripping on his speed there a little bit. We have Cash at outside linebacker. Roams like a DB. One of the impact playmakers made the call. So this guy might be the best player. Tariq Cash. We have another outside linebacker, great hands. Will struggle to keep up with the speedy backs. I think we're probably going to have to just go with even though we need an edge, I feel like Cash is going to be the best playmaker. He had the best positives. He's instantly going to, let's look at my breakdown of my team. How can I actually see my squad? Is there a way that I can do that? So he's an outside linebacker. How big of a need is that? Before I pull the trigger, let's look at my roster. Outside linebacker, right outside, left outside. We have an 81. This guy, the rookie's actually, we don't need it, man. We don't need it. We need that defense. Okay, we're going to have to grab a D-end. And that's never what you really want to be in. Let's just cancel this. That's something you really want to be in is just drafting for need. But we have to... can that Cash guy play D-end? I don't think, because he's 5'11", 220. Okay. Let's go. Okay, what's the best? I think this guy probably. Rennick. 4.53, that's who we're going with. It's going to be bad, isn't it? It's going to be bad. We're going to butcher the first overall pick again. Absolutely not a need. With the fact that cash is still there in the second round, I'm going to grab it. Even though it's not a need, there's going to be a way that we can find that. Might find a way to get him on the field. All right, we found this could be the last one I highlight for this draft class at the end. I just have to do it. Not a need. We have Benson here, 6'4", 257 pounds with a 4.29 in the 40. I'm gonna find a way to get that guy involved. That's like the craziest athlete I've ever seen. I'm trying to get this in right now. I didn't know after you signed a player their overall showed, but you can see Cash at the top there. He's a 75 overall. Benson, that freak running back, 68. My face is covering up, but we got 64, 63, 60, 66. So the only player overall I need to find is our first round pick. But getting Cash, who that in the second round, that's like the equivalent of like the Browns getting Jeremiah Owusu-Koroma, JOK, in the 2021 NFL draft. But I gotta go see what that first round DN's overall rating is real quick. It was a 77. That's a win. That's absolutely a win. All right, having looked at the free agency class beyond this, we need a wide receiver, which doesn't look great. We need a tight end, a center, and a corner. So there are some good players. Like we already saw, we got Stephen Davis there, 86 running back, Najee Davenport. Brian Westbrook is there. I thought about that. Reuniting Jim Johnson is our head coach. So Jason McAdley is the top wide receiver available. It's not that much of an upgrade because we have 72s on the board. Of course, there's nothing at tight end as well, which is great. Justin Pele. I'm pretty sure he's the Eagles tight end coach right now. He's there. We don't need anything on the offensive line. We need center, actually. Sorry. And, of course, there's no center. There's no center. Is that guy related to DK? Is that like an uncle or something like that? No center. Please, just give me a corner then. Give me a freaky corner that's available. That's all I'm asking. Whoa, a UDFA 73 linebacker? I don't even need a linebacker, and I'm going to submit that offer real quick. Hey, there is some corners. Nothing that's... Okay, Andre Goodman, a 77. He's only 27. Jerry Azuma's there, formerly of the Raiders. I will actually take Goodman. That's not bad given the available free agent, because that's a guy at 27. Still has a breakout year, especially the fact that we've had corners. Like last year, we saw a 72 corner, had 5 interceptions. So you can have a good productive year. He could be in the 80s, and that could be a nice value pickup here for the Cardinals. Hey, able to get our 2 targets, get that really talented rookie linebacker, and a guy that's going to be corner 2 on our squad for year 3. Let's get it. So here's our squad going into year 3. Potts is up to a 77, so not the great development I would have liked to seen from year 1 of our quarterback, but at least he's treaded the right direction, and he went up some points. Ship and Benson will be our 1-2 punch at running back. Johnson is up to an 86. Anquan Bolden, 78. Braxton, still a work in progress. Man, would love a little bit more speed. Maybe the next draft, I'll grab like the fastest 4th to 7th round projected wide receiver. Just to add that dimension there. O-line, we got 84, 80, 72, 94, and 79. So generally a solid offensive line. Defensively, we got Vanden Bosch, Pace, Rennick, the first round pick. I want to get him involved. What I'm thinking, I'm going to do this. I thought it was all that, because Vanden Bosch was like a bigger D end. So I'm going to swap him out with Rennick. And then I'm going to put Vanden Bosch D tackle 3. There we go, 74. There we go. Good depth. Good depth across the defensive line. Linebacking core, we're going Thompson. We're going to get McKinnon and Fisher. Man, I want to get Cash on the field, though. So I'm going to actually swip him with Thompson so he gets a little bit more of an opportunity to get involved. Secondary. I mean, again, we're opening ourselves up for trades. Maybe I can flip Vanden Bosch for a corner. Or maybe I can flip him for a speedster at wide receiver. I'm actually going to try that before the season starts. I'll get back to you if I can make a deal happen. All right, trading stuff. Dallas actually is trying to move on from an 80 overall corner. They want an outside linebacker, and they don't want anything. Like this guy here, 45. Don't even know who he is. Probably can figure it out, but I like the mystery that he's just known as number 45. But he's like 23, 24, 77 overall outside linebacker. That's a need for Dallas, and they're giving it an F. So I don't think there's any way a trade's happening right now, but I definitely will trade when all is said and done. Maybe you're going into year 5 when I'm going to not use those future draft picks and maybe try to grab someone. Now they're losing. I mean, I'll tell you this. This has been very difficult. 3 straight losing seasons. Like we've had 1 playoff appearance out of all the rebuilds so far. But I guess, if you had to find a positive, when we do win, it's gonna be that much more rewarding. I suppose you could say. But we have had 2 years so far that we were the worst team in the league, and make it 3 straight years of the first overall pick. And then at least we'll know right now. Like, there's a reason why, well, I mean, YouTube didn't exist, but thank God rebuilds didn't exist back then, because right now it doesn't. Like, what else could I do? I really, genuinely, I'm going to look through the comments at this point and be like, is there something that I'm missing? I'm drafting, I think, fairly well. I'm signing the best free agents that I can actually upgrade my positions with. And literally outside of just, bypassing the draft and flipping all of my picks for maybe proven players, which we've already just seen from when I tried to make a trade before, that it's very strict. You're not going to be able to abuse this trade system. I don't know. And it's not even like I can cheese it behind the scenes. I can't force wins. I can't edit attributes. Like, literally, if I go in and try to edit a player, I found this out just strictly trying to change position. Like, attributes is grayed out for some reason. So, like, literally, I have no control really on my team, which is, it makes it a lot that I get. Our quarterback sucks. I don't know what else we could do. It's like, oh man, well, maybe we need to go and get him a big time wide receiver. They don't grow on trees. Free agency has not been plentiful for wide receivers so far. 1,200 yards, 5 tutties for Ship. 1,100 yards, 6 touchdowns for Bryant Johnson. We had 800 yards, 5 touchdowns for Anquan Bolden. Defensively, Fisher and McKinnon over 100 tackles. We have 12 sacks from the rookie Burt Rennick. 11 from Calvin Pace, 8 from Fisher. Happy with all those numbers. Goodman, our lone free agency signing, back there in the secondary with 3 interceptions, tied for first place on the team. So, I mean, it looks good. It's just we're not getting it going on offense. Unfortunately. Yearly awards, MVP went to Marshall Falk. Defensive Player of the Year went to Ray Lewis. All right, yet again, another offseason with the first overall pick. All right, we're going to get weird here. I'm going to try to assemble an all-star coaching staff. We're going to as much as I hate to do this to Jim Johnson, you get the first pick 3 straight years. We're going to try and get Big Red. Andy Reid in here. Come on, give me a bid. So we got Andy Reid, and then I got Sean Payton, who I'm going to try to make my offensive coordinator, and he accepted that job. So we are looking for, Jim Johnson, can I bring him back as a DC potentially? All right, we got pretty much the Eagles, the 04 Eagles. I still need a special teams coach. Who is the best special teams knowledge here? Have I heard of any of these? Probably not. First one, Harbaugh's there. Hey, let's bring him in. Get him an upgrade. Let's keep going. I'm going to get him. So we are going to have a coaching staff of Jim Harbaugh as special teams coach, Jim Johnson as DC, Sean Payton as OC, Andy Reid as head coach. I'm doing everything I can do here, fellas, to try to make this team good. So for our first overall pick, I hate the profile. It's 2 guys. I'm between Richard Lewis, who's 5'7", buck 6 still. He's like 2-2 Atwell here, pretty much. But everything looks good, man. Amazing hands. 4.4 is just fast enough. Like, all the other combine stats look fairly good. Or we have a defensive tackle, Rob Pete from BYU, 6'4", 299. Some pretty positives. The wear and tear. There's no injury, so I'm not overly worried about that. It now just comes down to positional scarcity. I feel like our defense has been solid. It's our offense that has been lacking. I'm gonna draft a 5'7" wide receiver with the first overall pick. God damn it. That's going to be bad, isn't it? The good news is that the D tackle that we're targeting slipped all the way down to 31, so maybe that was the right call. This is kind of cool. So you can find out your players' overalls from the draft as you sign them. I get a 68, like literally anything I would say 65 above, it still kind of carries the same, in your head grading system. Anything 65 above is a good pick. So a 68 center. We have a right guard here that we got kind of late. He's 59. Oh, that's not good. Oh, this guy, 50. Oh, that's not good. We got another corner. Charles Lewis, 65, ain't bad. Our top 3 picks, we went center, tight end, wide receiver. Cummings should be good. He had a good scouting report, maybe in the 70s. He's 68. So at least between one of these guys, I would almost just classify them as like interior linemen. We'll be able to shuffle them around. Tight end Michael Parrish had great hands, and his scouting report said he was the best run blocker in the class. He's a 76, which is great. And then the number 1 overall pick, 5'7", 164. Please be like 81. 78. It's not bad. I think we made the right call. I think I'm happy with this draft class. Boot up the free agency class. Don't know what's there, but I tell you right now, we need D tackle 2, corner 3. Those are the big spots, and there's a safety and a center. Great. All right, D tackle 2. Ooh. Ooh. We don't really. He's so old, but he could be enough to take us over the edge. I'm gonna put an offer in here on Isaac Bruce, even though we just burned a first-round pick. Feel like he might be good enough. We do need a center, even though we've been drafting center. Let's see if we can get Damian Woody. Get a right tackle, defensive line, solid. D tackle 3 is what we're looking for. We have Russell, Tony Williams, Ellis Johnson. Throw him a little bit. But see, my point being is that we haven't been spending crazy amounts of money, and we have 2 free agency periods left. So I feel like we can't be like not necessarily all in this. Oh, and there's garbage at corner. Can't really be all in this year, but we could start to stack some paper here on some free agents so that we can actually compete if it happens to be like an all or nothing year 5, which it's probably gonna be. So yeah, Isaac Bruce, Damian Woody, Ellis Johnson, those will be our 3 targets. Obviously massive money there for Isaac Bruce, but we got to just do everything we possibly can, be it spending the first overall pick on a wide receiver, spending the top money in free agency on a wide receiver to try to maximize our former first overall QB. And we're able to get all of our targets. Still have $13 million worth of cap room, so depending on who we actually have to sign in-house at the end of the upcoming season, still going to be able to probably get at least 1 or 2 big names in the 5th and final free agency period next year. I'm going to hop in year 5 if you're waiting for the gameplay. Here is our squad for year 4 before we get into the sim. At QB, Potts is up to an 81. Hopefully Andy Reid, John Payton, those guys are going to be able to get the best out of him this season. Ship, who's been probably our best skill position player, he's regressed just a little bit down to a 78, but I still expect him to be solid. Wide receivers now, we have Isaac Bruce, 93, Brian Johnson, 90, Anquan Bolden, 84, and the number 1 overall pick, Richard Lewis, with a 78. So 4 legit, very viable wide receivers right there. Our second round pick, Michael Pears, 76, tight end, will start. O-lines, 83, 79, 87, 93, and 76. So that's a very good offensive line. Defensive line, we got Calvin Pace, who's an 86. Rennick, who was just insane last year. First overall pick. He's up to an 83. We have Wendell Bryant, 89, and Ellis Johnson, 81 at D tackle. Linebacking core, we have Cash, 78, McKinnon, 85, Fisher, 87, and we still have pretty solid depth there. Thompson's at 83, and the linebacker that will not be named is a 79. Secondary, we have 84, 77, and 71. Safeties, 89, and 94 there for Adrian Wilson. 87 and 96 on the special teams. How are we not at least going 8-8 is what I want to know. Progress, 6 and 10. I get what? I almost want to see what are these other teams looking like? Let's see who are the best record. Broncos were 13 and 3. Let's take a look at their roster. Just to get an idea here. Well, we know the fact. Let's see. The best, most explosive offense by a lot was Green Bay. So let's just see, what's the difference between my freaking team that can't win and go above 500 and the Green Bay Packers. So looking at my team, we got 80s, two 90s at wide receiver. O-line has a couple 90s there. Defensive line, we have 2 80s, high 80s, pretty much all 85 plus across the board on the defensive side of the ball. Let's just see what's Green Bay working with. So they have obviously the QB, and I'm starting to get a feeling that the most important thing in these older Madden sims, because we're not playing these games, is you got to have a superstar quarterback. Their skill position players, definitely are better than ours. Offensive line is good. Defensively, it's pretty kind of similar in a way. Obviously, it's a little bit better, but the space between that team in the sim and our team in the sim, it feels like it's more than the talent that's on the field right there. But hey, it's the first year of Andy Reid kind of running things here, and hopefully, we go year 5 where we can kind of throw everything all in a little bit. Let's see what our QB did. Did he finally have more touchdowns than interceptions? And he did! Mike Potts, 19 touchdowns, 15 picks, but has been incredibly underwhelming as a franchise quarterback so far. Run game was more of a 1-2 punch. Receiving, we had 97 catches over 1,000 yards, 9 tutties, Isaac Bruce, 9 and 8 for Bryant Johnson. Lewis, the first round, first overall pick, 192 yards, 2 touchdowns. This is kind of like one of those years, like, as much as I like Anquan Bolden, he has way more name value, name recognition than Bryant Johnson. Kind of Bolden's a free agent, so we have a way to get Lewis a lot more touches next season, and we can spend that money elsewhere on the squad. Defensively, Thompson went over 100 tackles. We had 9 sacks for Burt Rennick, who's been really, really good. Cash had 8 sacks and an interception on the year. Those are 2 guys that we drafted. That's nice. Adrian Wilson, 7 picks, 6 picks. Dwayne Starks. Interceptions look good, man. It's just, I don't know. We're not finding a way to put it all together. But we do have an opportunity. Still 1 more year to go. Yearly awards MVP went to Michael Vick. Defense player, they went to Keith Bullock. I'm pretty sure someone told me that's LeVar Arrington right there. Linebacker 51. Could be, might be, should be. But Keith Bullock is the defensive player of the year. All right, year 5. Come on. Just give me in the playoffs. Just give me in the playoffs. Well, that's always great to know as we gear up for year 5. We're going to be bankrupt soon. So let's just ride till the wheels fall off, baby. So yeah, we're all in time, so let's just sign straight up everybody that's going to be a meaningful starter, and then anyone that I'm not sure about, like we definitely need Leonard Davis here. Let's get him on a 3-year. Grammatica kicker, 87 kicker. Probably not going to find a better one of those on the open market. Brian, a D tackle. He's a 90 overall. Get him locked up. Anquan Bolden, said to be a free agent. He's probably going to be the best wide receiver there. But having all, hey, let's just, it's just in case we can get better at another position. I have no problem trying to bring him back just so we can have 4 strong wide receivers yet again. But at least let's leave that little bit of wiggle room with the salary cap in case we can go all in at other positions. So for the draft, this is a tough one. I need a tackle, ideally a right tackle, and a running back. And my top 2 targets are tackles and running backs. We have Walt Whitfield here at Tennessee, and the tight end, not Donald Penn, but Daryl Penn from Southern. I don't know where that is. They both look good, but the fact of the matter is that I have a couple tackles that I'd feel comfortable drafting and maybe having them challenge and compete for a starting spot. I only have 1 running back that I like, so I am going to select Whitfield here in the first round and then get my best remaining tackle in the second round. And I don't know how that happened, but our top available tackle, Penn, is there in the second round, hopefully 275 plus overall talents. All right, see, I like this element. Like, let's see what we got for our picks. Final round, we got a corner here. 64, we got a free safety. 60, all right, no whammies just yet. 61 D end. Got a middle linebacker, 65. BPA was a tackle, he's a 66. Okay, top 2. These guys here were our top 2 players overall, so I have very high regard. Hopefully both in the 70s. Penn's a 72, and Walt Whitfield, 78. That is good, I'll take that. 78, he has 92 break tackle. That's the only stat I could see here. 73 carrying, it's not great. Ugh. Whatever, it's a good player, good pick. So for our final free agency period, we went hard. Just straight up best players I could get, man. We got Timmerman at guard, 92. Legendary John Ogden will be our left tackle. I got Fred Breezy at fullback, because why not? Maybe that's what we're missing. I tried to throw an initial offer on Bolden, but ultimately I figure let's give a little bit of salary cap room so maybe we can make a blockbuster trade and be able to take on a big contract. We got Jermaine Lofton, re-signed him back in middle linebacker, 79. He'll be a starter. And then Chris Cash, 79 corner, big-time upgrade, will instantly be a starter on our defense. So we're in year 5, all or nothing for the Super Bowl, all or nothing for a winning season at this point. And we get to start things off with the Dallas Cowboys. That'll be the game that we play and get our hands on and get to act as Andy Reid and hopefully get a victory and start what should be a very good season. Because when you look at our team, we're a very good roster. At quarterback, Potts is up to an 86. Running back will be our first round pick, Whitfield. Here is a 79. We have Beasley, 89 fullback. Wide receivers, 93 Johnson, 93 Isaac Bruce, and 80 former number 1 overall pick, Richard Lewis. 76 tight end. Could be better. Could be worse. O-line, we have Ogden at left tackle, Clifton at right tackle. It's 81, 91, 88 at center, 93, and 92 at the 2 guard spots. So that's got to be one of the best offensive lines in the entirety of the league. Defensive ends, we have Pace and Rennick, both 88s. At D tackle, we have Brian, who's a 90, Johnson, who's an 82. Linebacking core, 85, 80, and 83. Secondary, 85, 79, 77, as well as a 92 Free safety here in Dexter Jackson, and Adrian Wilson is a 96 overall. 87 and 96 on the special teams. Like, I'm going to be livid at this point. This is probably the best team we've had so far in these early Madden rebuilds. Got to make the playoffs, especially with now with all the moves made to the coaching staff. We one of the best coaching staffs as well. I don't know. We got to find a way to put it all together. But let's get into the first game here against Dallas. Oh boy, I'm going to be rusty playing Madden 2004. Just get an idea of where we're at. We're an 86 overall team. That is, you know, just think about the base rating. That is a top 10 team in this game. Top 10 team in this league. Better have a top 10 record when all is said and done. Look at how thick Andy. Andy actually looks good. Andy looks good at this point. There we go. Ain't going nowhere. Ain't going nowhere. We're trying to figure out who the hell I want to be on this defensive control. Gotta go Rennick. I mean, that's a former #1 overall pick right there. He's been good. He's developed nicely for us. Hopefully we can get a couple sacks in this game. Dallas should have a solid offensive line, but we will not be denied. Great tackle there on the perimeter. Out of bounds. 3 and out.
Fuck you!
That's momentum shifts right there. Get the 3 and out. Excellent stop on defense. Since when is triangle not fair catch? Like, that's universal fair catch. Triangle, Y button. Oh, Isaac Bruce! Beautiful. Fumble, get it, yes, defense. The game is balancing itself out. Karma, all is right within the world. Oh, we got him deep. Got him deep, Isaac Bruce. He's unreal. He's unreal. Unheralded. I mean, you think of like, I don't know. I always feel like when I think of the Rams' greatest show on TV, you always think of like Torrey Holt before you think of Isaac Bruce. He was so damn good. Automatic, man. You got someone like that Isaac Bruce that's absolutely uncoverable. You got to target him early and often. Give Dallas credit, man. They are moving the... Oh, man, they move the ball down fast. They can run the ball very well. Couple bad decisions led us to an opportunity to try to go into halftime with a lead with a field goal here. Grammatica on the field. He's 87, like high 80s kicker. You got to figure probably one of the better kickers in the game. That looks pretty good. The wind looks good. Power looks good. Accuracy looks good. It is up. I'm going to say it, man. I'm going to say it. I know there's always people that are like, Madden, back in the day, man, oh, why aren't Maddens like the old Maddens? Gameplay isn't really holding up. Gameplay kind of sucks. Not fun. It's not fun gameplay. That was garbage. Holy, those are some huge tits on those cheerleaders. Third and 13. Can we get some sort of positive swing to go the way of our team? And they dropped it. And like, we're 3 and 6, man. This is what this game gets. Everyone like, Madden 04 is the best. Madden 04 was the best at that time. It does not hold up. And I challenge anybody. And not just because I lost and I sucked there. Because I've actually had some okay games, like 01. I think I actually smoked the team I played. But from like a rebuild standpoint, I always challenge anybody out there that's bored. And like, you could send me pictures and whatever on Twitter. Is it just me? Am I in a bad rut here? Or is it like, if you go with the same teams that I've been picking, can you find success in a 5-year rebuild? Like, it just feels like at this stage of franchise mode, which is, hey, even in 04, still it's kind of a new thing, kind of a new mode. I feel like they don't have Like this, I'm not gonna say it punishes you for the sim, but like I remember back in the day when I used to play FIFA, and if you sim too much in FIFA, you would just start losing games. I could be a 95 overall Man United team or whatever, but if I ended up simming the whole year, I'm gonna lose just a bunch of games. Obviously, just random losses. Losses do happen, but it felt like there was something in the old FIFA algorithm. It's like, hey, if you're simming too much, you gotta play these games. They're trying to they want you to play the games, and they're gonna be kind of harsh if you're trying not to play the game. I don't know if that makes sense. I don't know if that's tinfoil hat conspiracy theory going on, but my team is fucking sick, and we went 6-10. We're just burning through some of these shittier Maddens from a rebuild standpoint. These have not been fun. Well, I'm not gonna say fun, because seeing some of the old features and some of the in-depth things that you can do from an off-season perspective, from a scouting perspective, has been good. But gameplay's been less than stellar, and as far as franchise sim, it's been fucking trash so far. So hopefully, maybe Madden 05, we start to make that big jump in the next direction. Again, first overall, it's still way more interceptions and touchdowns. Running back sucked. Johnson went over 1,000 yards, 900 there for Isaac Bruce. Oh, shit. I mean, this guy's been a beast. Burt Rennick, former number 1 overall pick, 17 sacks on the year. Mitch Jones had 6 picks at safety. I don't know. At this point, all I can kind of say is, I genuinely, if anyone else has time, anyone else has access to an emulator and stuff like that, just do these rebuilds and then just at least give me confirmation. Be like, hey, C4, it's tough. It's not like, Madden 21, where you can clearly just take over a team and in a 5-year period make them good and go to the playoffs. So far, 01, 02, 03, now Madden 04, that is not the case. I think the only way I can make sense of this is either A, because I'm doing the really, really bad teams, we've yet to have a superstar quarterback. We've yet to have a 92, 93, 94, 95 plus upper echelon top 5 QB. And maybe that's kind of a tendency that the sim has, is that it kind of falls on your quarterback, because my quarterback numbers have been shit. Michael Vick has been our best quarterback, and we saw in the 03 rebuild with the Atlanta Falcons, Michael Vick was throwing way more interceptions and touchdowns every single year. So, I mean, I genuinely would just, if anyone else is doing this, just be like, hey, C4, yeah, I couldn't do it either. One of those things. Or I can do it, and you're doing something wrong. But that was me trying to rebuild the worst team in Madden 2004, and it absolutely failed yet again. So we will be back sooner than later with the 05 Madden rebuild. Let me know in the comment section below who you think is going to be the worst team in Madden 05. You could probably just look at the standings and figure that out. But thank you guys for watching. Again, it's just it's fun. I'm going to say it's not a fun series from a success standpoint. It's fun, being able to go back, look at some of these old players, some of the old rosters, some of the old mechanics. But, hey, it's a different series that's getting us through this dead period of Madden as we await at least some sort of news for Madden 22. So that'll do it for me today, guys. Thank you for watching. As always, first time stop by, don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button. Smash the like button if you enjoyed. And until next time, it's C4. Say peace.